In this DIY, I'll be using this resin that I picked up from Michael's. As you can see, the brand name is amazing. And it comes with 3 of these little measuring cups. And I'll also be using this mold that I picked up from Amazon. And I'll leave a link to it in the information box below the video. The resin kit also comes with popsicle sticks. And I have some gold glitter that I picked up from Walmart. Okay, so let's get started. These cups measure up to 30 milliliters, but I'm only going to pour 20 milliliters in the A cup and then 20 milliliters in the B cup. Now I'll pour parts A and B into this bathroom cup, then I'll mix them together for 3 minutes. Now I'll add in the gold glitter. Now if you decide to do this, make sure that you measure. I used about 3/4 of a teaspoon. You want to measure because if you plan on making more than one coaster, you want to make sure that they all match. Mix the glitter into the resin for about 1 minute. When you're done mixing the glitter and resin together, pour it into the mold, making sure that these spaces are filled in completely with the resin. And you want to fill it enough to where it covers the bottom completely. Okay, that's perfect. And like I said, I only needed enough to cover the bottom of the mold. So now I'll make sure that it's level and then put it aside to cure. Now since I have some of the resin left over, I decided to use the back of this mold to make some earrings. So I'll go ahead and fill 2 of these cavities with the leftover resin. Now I'll put these aside to dry as well, and if you'd like to see me make these into earrings, comment below. Okay, so I let this sit up for about 6 hours, and it has solidified enough for me to move on to the next step. So now I'll mix about 10 milliliters of both parts of resin and then add in this white paint. I'll add in a couple of drops because it doesn't take much to make the resin white. Now I'll mix everything together for about 3 minutes. Now I'll pour the resin into the center of the mold, making sure that it levels out evenly. Now I'll put this away and let it dry for another 6 hours. I pour the leftover resin on top of what's going to be my earrings. I'm done with the earrings for now, so I'll let them dry overnight. Okay, so now it's time to mix our third layer of resin. This time around I'll be using about 5 milliliters of part A and part B. I'll mix both of them together in this bathroom cup and then put in a very small amount of gold glitter. And the reason I'm only using a small amount of gold glitter is because I want my Chanel logo to be visible through the glitter. Now remember, if you decide to make this coaster, the gold glitter is an option. You do not have to add it if you don't want to. Here's the original coaster, and this is the look that I'll be recreating. I poured the majority of the resin into the mold and then swirled it around to coat the bottom. Of course, I found this image online and printed it out at home. And if you would like to print it out, I'll have it up on my Facebook page under the same name, Beverly Stunning Creations. Okay, moving right along, I took a small pair of scissors and cut the logo out. When I printed the logo out, I noticed that the ink wasn't that dark. So I solved that problem by spray painting it black. If you decide to do it, you can also use some black acrylic paint. Okay, so once the paint dried, I sealed it with some Mod Podge. This is the liquid. I used the spray, but either one will work. I also spray painted and Mod Podged the back as well. I then allowed it to dry. When the resin leveled out, I inserted the logo. I made sure that it was centered and then used my popsicle stick to push it down into the resin. When I was done, I put the remaining resin on top of the logo. Now, because the logo is made of paper, it'll easily float to the top of the resin. This is why I put a small amount of resin into the mold. Now I'll have to come back and periodically check this and push it back down in place until the resin sets enough to hold the logo in place, which will be about 45 minutes to an hour. Alright, so I checked on my logo until it's set up, and then as you can see, I took off and got my nails done. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and add my final layer of resin and glitter, and this time around I used about 30 milliliters of part A and part B. Now I'll mix the resin for 3 minutes. I'm done mixing the resin. Now, like before, I'll add in some gold glitter. Now you can put in a small amount of glitter as you go to make sure you get the look that you want. But I suggest that you measure the glitter so you will be able to recreate the same look in your next coaster. I fill the remainder of the mold with resin and then let the resin cure overnight. This is the very next morning, and finally we can remove the coaster from the mold. I simply pull down the sides of the mold and remove the coaster. I really love how the gold glitter looks extra sparkly in the resin. And I think adding glitter to the logo makes it extra glam. Now, I want to take this time to answer a question from a couple of our creative family members. They wanted to know if this was actually the top of the coaster. Because of the lip around this edge, you can clearly make this the top of your coaster. But that's up to you. It's simply a matter of preference. And I'm sure that you've seen that most coasters do not have a lip or edge around it. But if you'd like to see a DIY where I use the other side, which I call the bottom, I can definitely do that. I was actually thinking about doing some two-sided coasters, so if you'd like to see that, comment below as well. But as for me, I prefer the flat side. And here's another earring DIY that I'll be bringing to you as well. As you can see, I have a larger coaster mold, and the bottom of it will allow me to use it to make some designs. So I'll be using it to make some earrings, along with some other DIYs as well. And I'll also be DIYing the larger piece into a bangle. Okay, I have one more thing that I'd like to share with you. As you guys know, this is one of my favorite DIYs. And here's what it looks like with the string lights on. This is truly one of my favorite DIYs, if not my favorite DIY of all time. So I decided to try and recreate it in a coaster. Since this was a trial run, I didn't detail the buildings too much, but I will next time around. I wanted to see how the mirrors and the bling would hold up in the resin, and as you can see, the bling and the mirrors held up excellent. So if you'd like for me to DIY this coaster as well, please comment below. Okay everyone, that's it for this DIY. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave me a thumbs up. And if you aren't subscribed already, please consider doing so. And if you're coming over from my first channel, Beverly's Stunning Creations, please note that I'm still doing a giveaway on 4 of these coasters. So if you'd like to enter, the rules will be in the description beneath the video. Again, if you like this DIY, please don't forget to thumbs it up. I would truly appreciate it. Don't forget to share, comment, and please subscribe. I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.